for episode number 17 of That Marketing Show, brought to you by the Coffee Group. Hey, wanted to follow up on a couple of themes that I've been running through with a couple of different customers we've been talking to recently. And I always try and bring in the agency side of the world for those people who are watching these videos to try and give you an idea of what we consider important when we talk to clients. And what we're trying to do in trying to help your understanding of some marketing concepts that might help your business, or if you're in an agency, or if you're in another piece of this marketing business or a part of the digital strategy world. Some of the things that we discuss hopefully bring you along the path of our experiences that we've had in the field with medium and small businesses, and now growing into some larger businesses as we grow as an agency. So today's theme is campfire. And, you know, it kind of begs the question of what happened from when we were really humans from a very young geological age around the campfire to now the ones and zeros that we live in from a digital world. And the same stories that we tell today in the digital world can relate back to the campfire days. You know, what happened around when we were 8 or 9 years old, when once upon a time sort of ended, right? But in the reality, our brains are built to build their strategy of how they understand mechanics of logistics through storytelling. And a lot of the issues that we have with our clients is that they're trying to force the equation of the logistics before they even tell the story of who they are. And especially when you talk about websites and digital marketing, the attention span of a lot of the world today is very limited. So you have to get your story across as quickly and as smartly as you can. So this whole process of telling a purposeful story, because I've read a lot of things that people say, hey, just get your thinking process out there and just, you know, tell everything that you do, just get it out on digital and just do it. But in the end of the day, the story has to be purposeful. It has to have goals, and it has to have a strategy built into the whole mechanism, especially in the digital world, of how you present that story so that your audience listens emotionally and connects emotionally, because that's when things start to move. So the first thing I wanted to say is, what is interesting to them? So when you're working with a client, or you're working with a customer, or if you're in a small business and you're talking to a potential client or potential business customer, what is interesting to them? You have to take yourself out of your body and put yourself into your customer. As soon as you start to think about what's interesting to them, you're going to make the emotional connection that's going to allow you to now navigate through what the problem or solution that you're going to provide is related to what they're interested in, not what you're interested in. And I think when people start to think that you're interested in only their money, the guards go up, pricing comes in, and all of a sudden it's a war of like he said, she said. So you have to think about you know, them not necessarily protecting their pocket or their groin, but really thinking about how you get into their heart. Now, your client is the audience. So if you're telling a story, who's the villain? Who's the hero? Right? Are there competitors, if you talk to your client, that you can say, there's the villain, we have to go after the villain? Is there a hero? Is there someone within their organization that needs to be brought up to hero status, like a CEO or somebody who's in charge that you can make the hero? So these are the things you have to think about when you're storytelling. Now when you get to digital, and we have ones and zeros, we have to think about taking ones and zeros and changing those to oohs and ahs, because that's when you're going to make the emotional connection, right? So instead of thinking about logistics and things that are actually physical attributes, it costs $50, it's brown, it's the fastest thing on earth. Think about how you emotionally tell the story about how it relates to something that's interesting to your client. That way you can make the connection, and don't hide your goals. So if you're working with your client or you're working with someone, you have to think about how you present the story to make sure that both parties, whether it's a client or a business or customer, how both parties are going to work together, and that both people understand the realization that you're both in this dialogue to come out on the better end. So you have to laugh, sing, and cry through the story together. I hope that makes sense for you. We'll talk to you in the next episode.